So now that the FBA term has been used publicly and the lineage has been acknowledged publicly by one of Florida's 2026 gubernatorial candidates and the conservatives' favorite political commentator, Tucker Carlson, we talk about what FBA really is, what it is not, and who will now be grifting off of it. This is the unspoken why. Welcome back to The Unspoken Why, where we talk race, culture, and politics. If you like what you hear today, make sure you don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you never miss another one. So guys, FBA is a lineage, not Republican, not Democrat, okay, not Crips, not Bloods. It's a lineage, not a hate group, not alt-right. It's a lineage, okay? A foundational Black American is 13 plus million and counting Black Americans in the United States of America whose ancestors at one point were enslaved Africans. That is foundational Black American. Foundational Black Americans we are mixed people. Many of our ancestors were raped, okay? Which is why we have different looks, especially in different states. We've got Creoles, we've got the Gullah Geechees, we got all kinds of folks in the foundational Black American lineage. We've got just everything. We are a very diverse group of people, but we all have one thing in common. Our ancestors were enslaved in the United States of America, and that is a foundational Black American. It's not rocket science, okay? And I know that many people who have been grifting off the acronym tend to be haters or toxic online, but it's not a hate group, and it never will be because it can't be, because it's an actual lineage group of people. That's what it is. It's a lineage, okay? And the people in that group are from this lineage. It's that simple. So if your mother is Black American and your dad is Haitian, you are a foundational Black American. Okay? If you are 80% Caucasian white American and 20% foundational Black American, you are not a foundational Black American. You have foundational Black American roots, 20%. And if we were to get reparations, depending on how they decide who gets it based on what percentage, you could possibly get some, I don't know, but you are 80% white, you look like a white person. You go through life and identity, and America sees you as white, you're treated as white, you're white, right? You got to be at least 50% foundational Black American to be Black American. And before this, it was ADOS, right? ADOS, American Descendants of Slaves. Again, whatever you want to call it. Somebody could be foundational Black American and not even refer to themselves as this, but they still are. It's just simply a lineage. So let's cut the crap and stop the lies about this is the FBA to alt-right pipeline because certain things were said that people don't like. I get it. You don't like certain things that were said. Got it. But that does not mean that FBA is Republican or we're a hate group or any of that. We're literally just people who are owning our history, our legacy, and our lineage and our ancestry. That's it. That's all it is, guys. Okay? Now, in another video, I'm going to deep dive into why we started delineating why it is important, why it is a must, why it's not about hate. It's about potentially getting what's owed to us, because as America is changing, which it's vastly changed culturally, and the ethnicities have changed of who's making up America, we're drowning. Foundational Black Americans, we're drowning in the terms like multiculturalism and minorities and people of color, and none of that relates to who we are and what we've done for this country. None of that. And we never ever get the credit that's due. There's a lot that's been going into why this has been transpiring, okay? It's not about trying to say that we're better than anybody else. It's just about staking our claim. The same way that, people say, oh, I'm Nigerian American or I'm Haitian American. And some people believe, hey, you can't even say that because how can you be two nationalities? You see what I'm saying? That's why some Black people don't like the whole term African American, because African is like, 54 countries in Africa. So it's like, how can you be African American? Like, what part of Africa? So some Black people reject that term. They just like Black because it just is it's what we relate to, right? So Again, everybody has a right to claim their ancestry and their lineage, including everybody else, Jamaicans and Haitians and Nigerians and Somalians and etc. It's all good. And so we're just doing the same exact thing. And listen, you're listening to somebody who has been to 4 African countries, and I've had a great time, never been treated badly, never, loved it. Would definitely go back to any African country. Actually, I got a couple of them on my bucket list. I got a couple of them that I definitely want to get to for sure. And I'm not even opposed to, living in the motherland. I'm really, really not. I am somebody who loves all black African people globally, whether we're in Fiji, whether we're in Russia, whether we're in the UK, whether we're in Ghana. I love all of us. I've got friends from all different backgrounds: Ethiopian, Nigerian, Haitian, everybody. I'm Dominican. I got friends from every background, and all my friends know how I am. I'm 10 toes down, rooted in blackness, always will be, always have been, rooted in my foundation, never ever shying away from my ancestry, because we're survivors and we're thrivers and we're influencers and we're creators. And this whole country was built off of our backs, blood, sweat, and tears, period. And there's nothing to be ashamed of, because we are America, literally. And the only reason why we're in the situations that we're in economically, mentally, spiritually, socially is because of slavery and what it did to our people. And then the laws that they created to dial us back in society economically and to break down our family. It's a lot of moving parts here. But I support everybody. So anytime I ever give a critique, it is going to be a constructive critique. I'm never going to come on my channel and just totally trash any group of African people. It's not how I operate. I'm here for deep dive critical analysis. So if you're interested in that, in a nuanced channel, in a balanced channel that's going to give context, that's going to give the gray and not just the black and white, and not just somebody's narrative and spin because they're getting paid to do that, then this is the channel for you. But if you're interested in just like somebody just spewing hate, being toxic, doing it for the gram, doing it for laughs, you know how folks can be. This is not that channel. This is the teaching channel. This is the educated black folks channel. Okay? So before we get into the video breakdown with James Fishback and Tucker Carlson, I want to give you some understanding on who this guy is. All right, guys? So James Fishback, I got it all zoomed in. He's 31 years old. He's young. You could tell he's a nobody. He doesn't even have his picture on here. Okay? Dropped out of Georgetown University. Couldn't finish Georgetown. I guess, and I had highlighted here, his mother is immigrated from Colombia. So he's from Florida. He's an American investor, hedge fund manager, political candidate. He's running for the governor of Florida for 2026. 31 years old, basically a nobody from Davie, Florida, dropped out of Georgetown University, Ivy League school, and his mother immigrated from Colombia. So him talking about tethers is very interesting. I'm going to tell you why later, but I think it's obvious now. And then his father owned a landscaping business before becoming a bus driver. Okay. So this is who this guy is. And then, of course, we know Byron Donalds, a Republican. You see his picture. He's a veteran compared to James. That's why he's punching below the belt, because he's trying to beat him. I understand, it's politics. Byron is 47 years old. He's from New York City. And yes, he is of Jamaican and Panamanian heritage. He's not a foundational black American. And I believe somebody said that he was on the Breakfast Club and said something about he would never vote for reparations because his family's not going to get any, or something like that, which was the worst thing that he could have ever said out of his mouth. I don't even know why he said that. I just really think he forgot where he was at that moment. But he'll definitely live to regret that, for sure. Okay. Because he probably will not be winning the Florida governor race. I mean, let's just be honest. And I think that DeSantis' wife is going to run. I mean, honestly, they're all terrible. Everybody's terrible. I don't know any good politicians on the Democratic or the Republican side. They're all terrible. But yeah, he did, though, let me show you guys this. He got the endorsement from Donald Trump. So all that kissing worked for Byron Donalds, because he got that endorsement from Trump. And of course, we know what his wife looks like. Don't we always know? That's his wife right here, Byron Donalds. That's his wife. Okay, so he's in it to win it. Just a reminder, because I'm not trying to be shady, but like, guys, just a reminder. Remember our boy Andrew Gillum? Yeah, that was the last Democrat that was running, and he was also another version of a sellout, a more personal version. He liked them more than just yeah, I don't want to get into that. I'm not really trying to be too shady, but like, remember he came out. I don't identify as gay, but I do identify as bisexual. He told Tamron Hall, and then his wife, she braved all that public abuse and criticism. Yeah, man, that was crazy times. But that was the last black dude that I know running for governor, and that did not end well. Okay, so I don't know. I don't think Byron Donalds is going to end up in that kind of situation, but yeah. Anyways, guys, let's get into the video. I'm just saying it's not looking good for Florida. This is my state. I mean, I live in this state. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of sad, but yeah, let's get into the video. So now you know James's background and you know Byron's background. So let's play it.
Donalds, as of right now, still endorses Randy Fine's re-election bid, despite that star boy comment. And they tried to cancel you for having a conversation with a certain someone.
He's talking about when Tucker met with Nick Fuentes and had that interview with him.
He's literally endorsing a member of Congress who told innocent children who were literally starving on video to starve away. That tells you everything you need to know about my opponent, Byron Donalds.
What I know Byron, and I've always gotten along with him. He's super cheerful.
What man calls another man cheerful? Isn't that weird?
I didn't realize. Is he ideological? I've never detected that.
No. That's why I call him a slave.
All right, so let's talk about this for a minute. James Fishback, 31 years old, whose mother migrated to America from Colombia. You did not call Byron Donalds a slave because he's not ideological. You called him a slave because that's inflammatory language, dog whistling to the white racist Republicans to, hey, remember this black dude's a slave. Don't vote for him. Vote for me. Right? That's basically why you called him a slave. Okay? That's just the truth, guys. Again, I told you, this is a critical analysis. None of these guys are ever going to get my vote. Byron Donalds is a sellout. He'll never, ever, ever get my vote. But I've got to keep it real because these are snakes that you're watching on the screen. And everything that they do is two-faced. And there's always different reasons why they say certain things. It's not just, it's never what you think it is with these folks. So that's the whole point for this breakdown, because I've seen a lot of people analyze this video and they're not even calling out any of this because they don't want to make it seem like they're on Byron Donald's side. It's really not about being on anybody's side. It's about calling out everything you see as you see it. And that's what I do here.
Yeah. And they called you a racist for that?
They did.
Because that is racist when you're calling a black person, a person that looks black, that's African, that's Negroid, when you call them a slave, that's a dog whistle. And everybody knows that why you're doing that. Let's stop the cap. Let's stop acting like it's not what it is.
Which is actually quite interesting because I got a call from the Foundational Black American Society here in Florida.
By the way, I looked this up. I never found a Foundational Black American Society of Florida. I did find, by the way, of course, Tariq's site, officialfba.com. Guys, go check it out if you don't know anything about FBA history or anything. He's selling his merch on this site and everything. He's got his book. I think this has definitely got to be his site because this book is on here. But there's this website, but I've never found a Foundational Black American Society of Florida. I look for it. If you know about it, let me know in the comments. Drop the link. I've never found it. I think he lied about that, honestly. If he didn't, I'm wrong. But let me know if you've ever heard of it or have a link. I found nothing. And these folks lie. But notice how once he said that, now he's going to use our talking points, the FBA talking points, to make his own point valid, to make his own racism valid. This is how sick and twisted they are. This is nasty work, actually. You know what I'm saying? This is real snake white supremacist work right here. I gotta give it to him. He's using our talking points to make his racism valid towards Byron Donalds. It's pretty deep. I mean, really.
reminded me that
And he looks down because he knows he's about to say something crazy. He knows, maybe he probably doesn't even believe this, what he's about to say. Because they're so fake, guys. Really.
Byron's
Look at how he's gripping his lip and everything. It's just almost like he's like, yeah, I'm really about to say this. I wonder if they're going to run with it. I wonder if it's going to work when I say it, you know?
mother is Jamaican, he is Panamanian. They found it quite insulting in their words.
And he's low key a psychopath because you see the way he smiled and then he got serious. I was like, he's weird. This dude is weird, man. He reminds me of like a nemesis for Spider-Man in a Spider-Man movie. He's just off. His energy is off. There's something weird about him. Like he's got secrets for sure. Again, I'm not on here to agree with Byron Donalds. He's never getting the vote. He destroyed his reputation with FBA. We're not coming to bat for him, but I'm just showing you how snaky they are. That's it. Because you need to see all sides. Anybody that you watch online, you need to see all sides. If they're not showing you all sides, if they're one-sided, they're being paid, or they're just doing it for clout, and that's not somebody that you want to follow. You'll never learn from somebody like that if you just follow people that always have one narrative, one spin. They're not authentic. They're not genuine.
That he would try to claim victimhood of slavery. Not a single descendant
And why is he laughing? I don't understand that what's so funny about slavery? I'll wait.
of American slaves in
And by the way, guys, last time I checked, hold on. Let's really keep it real. And again, we just got to be honest. Byron Donalds, parents Jamaican and Panamanian. Were Jamaicans enslaved, yes or no? How did the Africans get to Panama? Slavery. So, granted, Byron Donalds can never say that his people were enslaved in the United States of America, but what this idiot is forgetting, James Fishback, who doesn't even have a picture on his wiki, what he's forgetting is that Jamaicans were enslaved and Panamanians were enslaved. The Africans were brought there to be slaves. So he actually does have slavery in his lineage. He doesn't have foundational Black American. His people were not enslaved in America, but he has slavery in his lineage. And so therefore he does actually have a right to be insulted. Even if he is a sellout, tap dancing raccoon, he has every right to be insulted by a white man with a Colombian heritage who white people might actually call James Fishback a tether. I mean, can we talk? Let's keep it real. They might call him a tether because he's actually, his mother's Colombian. So, but are y'all following me? Are y'all following me? Like, these people are kind of stupid. Like, well, not kind of. They are. This is stupid. But he's 31. I mean, literally, like, you're saying he would try and claim victimhood of slavery, but he's Panamanian and Jamaican. He can claim victimhood of slavery, but just not American slavery. But based on what this man is saying, he's totally blind to the reality that Jamaicans and Panamanians were enslaved. That's how the Africans got there. They were slaved. It's enslaved in those places. Most of the Africans went to Latin America. They actually didn't even come to the United States of America. So what is he talking about? You see what I'm saying? But I'm going to tell you why he's doing this. He's doing this to make his racism valid. And listen, I'm happy that FBA was brought up. I'm happy even that this tether word was mentioned, even though it's very, very controversial, okay? But I'm happy that it was mentioned. I'm happy that he brought it up because now everybody has been put on notice and they know our lineage is to be coveted. It is important. And it's so important that even they can use it. Even if they're trying to grift off it, they know that there's validity in it to even grift off of it. You understand? So it is important that they said this and that now everybody's been put on notice because for a long time, the Republicans were actually using all these other people. They were using the Caribbean immigrants, the Nigerian and the African immigrants, making them believe that you're better than Black Americans. And a lot of them do happen to lean to the conservatives because they might think that they are better. I mean, it happens. I mean, they have them on both sides, right? They have Democrats, they have Republicans, but like we know that we've come to find a lot of the Blacks that happen to move up the ranks in the conservative party are actually not foundational Black American. So there's a thing there. So now it's like we've proven everybody right that, hey, they just use people. And whatever's convenient for them, they'll do. So right now, you guys are no longer popular, right? Immigrants are no longer popular. Trump wants to kick everybody out of America that's Black and brown, that's an immigrant. So now they're going to lean on anything that we're doing that's valid. They just use people. That's all they do. That's why I said we are not Republicans or Democrats. We're a lineage. And nobody can ever say there's FBA to alt-right pipeline. That doesn't exist. We're all individual thinkers, which is the blessing of Black Americans, because we're not followers. Really, there are some of us that, we bleed blue, others bleed red, others are independent. We are all, we are so diverse in the way that we think and the way that we see things and the way that we do life. That's why we always check each other. That's why we're always on each other. So yeah, there is no alt-right, FBA to alt-right pipeline, because some people, they're always going to be conservative, and they've been conservative even before this dude said that. And some people are always going to be staunch Democrats, and some people just don't vote. A lot of folks don't vote, and that's cool too. Whatever you want to do, that's the freedom of America, to do what you want to do. All right, let's get back into it.
I like those foundational guys.
They're so good.
Foundational guys, like there's some caricatures.
Nasheed and all. I mean, I don't agree with everything, but
he doesn't agree with reparations, of course.
They've got a perspective. If your family's been here 400 years, and the descendants of a lot of American slaves, or families have been here 400 years, I don't know. I think
you don't know.
That gives. I'll listen to you. Like you've 100%. Got, you've got a point of view that is legitimate. I think. You don't know. I think. You see how he has to tiptoe because his base is white supremacist base. So he can't just be honest and direct with his words, because people might perceive that as, oh my gosh, Tucker agrees with Black Americans being foundational and having an opinion that matters. And no, those are our slaves. Why would he say that? Why would he agree? That's why he has to dance around that like he did.
Yeah. And they're unequivocally heritage Americans.
And this is the truth. It really, let's be honest, who's more American than us? Because we were born and bred here, cultivated here, created here. They stripped our whole identity, all of our languages that we spoke from the different tribes. They took every single thing that they could away from us so that we can become almost like a bastard version of themselves. Let's just keep it a buck. And they never, ever, ever thought that we were going to be free. They never wanted us to be free. That's why they don't feel like our opinions are valid, if y'all really want to know the truth. Because we were never supposed to be free and come up and be equal to them. That's why they've always been fighting our equality, because we were 3/5 a man on paper. You understand? And it's like, how can my slave now be living next to me in a big house? How is that possible? How did we get here? That's a problem.
That's for sure. 100%.
And Heritage American is like their version of FBA or whatever. And while James is talking about Heritage American, he's not really a Heritage American. Let's be honest. And like I said, white people could also call him a tether, So, of course, somebody who's similar to Byron in that sense, what he wants to call him, that's what he is, right? That's hypocritical, man.
Heritage Americans, if anyone is. And, someone rolled.
Notice he didn't laugh there as well, because that is a fact, and he didn't say I think either, because he knows that that's true. You notice, because Tucker, when he wants to be serious, he can be. And when he's serious, he means what he says. And when he's laughing, it's all joke. He's not serious. It's just like, okay, I'm just going to cackle to let you know that this is BS, whatever, right now. But right then and there, he was serious, and he didn't say I think. He was clear about that.
From Ghana and gets an MSNBC slot and starts speaking on behalf of Black people. It's like, shut up, honey. You've got nothing to do with this.
Now, I think he's talking about Joy Reid, but I'm not sure. If you know, let me know in the comments. Is he talking about Joy Reid?
Right. That's literally a fair perspective. Right.
And he is right about that. And I don't know why he's saying he thinks, because I don't even understand. What's to think about? Like, if you actually believe that we are real Americans, because 400 years we have nothing else, like, of course we're real, quote, Americans, this creation of America that you've created. Yes, we're real Americans from that creation, right? Well, then what's to think about? That is true, right? Unless that non-FBA person is 10 toes down rooted in blackness and knows black history from beginning to end and can run you all of our leaders and all of our history from the very beginning, well then I think they can absolutely lecture you. But if they're wishy-washy, if they double back, if they say one thing and then do another, if they're a snake, no, they can't lecture anybody. That's just a fact.
And so it's good to actually see them call them out for that. That's actually cultural appropriation. Appropriating the struggle of slavery. I totally agree.
He's laughing because I guess it's funny. I mean, to me, it's not. It is. It is a form of cultural appropriation in a way. I mean, it's not really funny.
If slavery was real, I don't think Republicans ever want to really whitewash that. It's real.
Can you believe he said that? Dude, the Republicans are the only people whitewashing slavery. One thing I'll give the Democrats, even though they're trying to make us and push us into, a land of 20 million genders and sexual orientations like galore and all that, which I don't agree with at all. But like one thing I will give the Dems is that they're never trying to whitewash slavery. If anything, they're too politically correct and they do too much sometimes. But like the Republicans are absolutely whitewashing slavery. They're the ones that want to put all the monuments back up. They're the ones that in Texas, they're teaching that we were indentured servants. In Florida, the attack on, anything black is 100% valid. I'm in Florida. So that's a joke. That's BS.
Right? But for
we're
Byron,
against slavery.
We're against it.
Whether it's in the, West Bank or here or anywhere. Yeah, against it.
And so for Byron's group, his team, to call me and essentially our entire supporting base racists for saying that you're a slave when quite literally.
But you are racist because you are white facing, even though your mother immigrated from Colombia. You're a white facing individual in America calling a black man a slave. That's racist. It doesn't matter if he's non-FBA or FBA. It doesn't matter. He's a Negro and you're calling him a slave, and that's racist, James.
Took $45 million. You won't tell us what you agree.
And he's making it seem like he can call him that because it's 2026. And it's like, well, you took this money, but he knew that was an inflamed word, and he was dog whistling to his base to remind them, don't vote for a black man, he's a slave. Remember that. You know what I'm saying? And he's not even a real FBA, which again, this is all he's just using this, right? And I appreciate him listen, the grift, I understand he's got a grift because he's trying to make it. He's 31. He dropped out of school. He's trying to make it. Byron Donalds got the endorsement from Trump. Honey, he got the endorsement probably from some of these corporations. He out here, you know what I'm saying? And he's trying to make it. James is trying to win, right? But just understand that it's a grift. And he used our talking points to grift. But we did get acknowledgement in this sense, and that is a good thing because again, I think people think this was just like an online thing. FBA is not real. Our lineage is real. And even if people do not identify, even if there are foundational black Americans that don't identify or say I'm FBA, they don't have to. The lineage speaks for itself. We're just putting a name to it the same way that people say, oh, I'm Nigerian American, oh, I'm Haitian American, oh, I'm Dominican American. Right? We're just putting a name to it because everybody else has a name to theirs and they can hop in and out when they want. And that's, if they want to do that, that's their prerogative. But we can also stake our claim because we've got 400 years rights to do that. And that's really all it is.
Take that money this early in a primary, which is unprecedented. You know this, how unprecedented that kind of money is in an uncontested primary until now.
And he's jealous. Let's be honest. He's jealous that Byron Donalds got that money, that $45 million. And that's why him dog whistling the word slave was to helpfully get these white Republicans to support racism more than they support Republican Byron Donalds. You know what I'm saying? Because he's mad. He wishes he got that $45 million because, you see his situation here. And he's 31. So yeah.
But secondarily, to actually go out and try to gaslight us and think that you're just one of those guys that has been here, since the early 1800s and your family was in the struggle too. You're not.
So again, did Byron Donalds say that his family had been here since the 1800s? Like, just let me be clear. Did Byron Donalds say that, guys, or did he just come out and say that, that's racist to be calling me a slave because I'm black? Like, and I don't know, maybe Byron Donalds wasn't clear. He should have been clear, like, as a Jamaican and a Panamanian American, American, whatever he calls himself, he should have just been clear. I That's very insulting because my people were enslaved, because his people were enslaved in Jamaica and Panama. That's the reason why blacks are there. So technically, he's right. Now, if Byron Donalds came out and said he was foundational, that's a whole different story. And then we got a problem because he's out here lying.
And it's a very interesting term that the foundational black Americans use. It's called tether. They're tethering these tethers. They come here.
It's funny.
Literally.
Because technically, like I said, white people can call him a tether.
Generation in. And they try to just sit around and act so folksy that we're all part of the same struggle.
By the way, that's why they always say white, not Latino, because of people like him, by the way. When you do the census and everything, they got white, not Latino, because of people like this dude.
We're all down on and we need to fight against. No, you just got here, dude. Like the Haitians.
And, this is the point here. And again, there's always truth in their shit. In their lies, trying not to cuss, but there's always truth in it, so he's making a point here.
Like the guys from Ghana who just got here, you don't get to just be a part of our system and then lecture us about how our country went wrong.
Now, here's the thing. It's validity in that only when you're not black first. So if you come from Haiti and you're not black first, and now you're trying to lecture and you decided to be down with the get down with the Republicans, and you decided to coon and step and fetch and tap dance and sell out, and then all of a sudden when somebody is racist towards you, which is what you should expect because that's what you joined, then all of a sudden you want to call them racist, then I get why they feel like, hey, well, you knew what you signed up for. You're supposed to be a good boy. You know what I'm saying? Like Candace Owens. Like, you're supposed to never say anything. You know how we are. You know what it is. So then it's like, okay, you can't lecture us. You signed up for this. But if you come to this country and you're 10 toes down, rooted in blackness, black history, I feel like you can lecture them. That's just my personal opinion. Now, if you don't know nothing about black American history, or if you don't support reparations and you're trying to make a point to them, yeah, we're not going to stand by you. We never will, because you don't stand by us.
Well, and if you're a Republican, supposedly conservative Republican, to throw around the term racist, I mean...
Now, this is crazy, because this is exactly what I just said.
That's what I'll speak for myself, I voted against that enough.
You voted for that in November. You voted for Trump. You voted for that. Stop. What is wrong with these people?
November last year. Right. I don't like that style of non-argument.
That's a non-argument. To call somebody a racist is a non-argument, because it's very difficult to prove racism, but it's not in a sense when, a man like James Fishback calls a man like Byron Donalds a slave. That's very clear that that's racism, because he would have never called him that if he was white, because it's not inflammatory language that's going to trigger his base to, possibly not vote for Byron because he's black, reminding them, oh yeah, we don't know, he can flip on us, he's black, he's a slave, whatever. So let's stop.
Just dismiss someone off the top. You're a bad person. I don't have to respond to your specific charge against me. I'm too old for that. Yeah.
So he's too old for racism being a real thing or existing. Got it.
Aren't we opposed to that, identity politics?
And it's not. Listen, if you give him the ammo, he's gonna unload. So you called him this, so now he has something to call you. You see what I'm saying? That's just how it works. You called him a slave, now he can call you a racist. It's just how the game works. I mean, they know this. They're just gaslighting, because that's all they do.
And I'll tell you, the identity politics of the right is probably the greatest it's ever been, but it's actually codified into law, which is the scariest part.
Notice that.
So he's talking about basically the laws that say you can't say anything about JEWISH people or anything about that country over there that's unaliving folks.
Right? Say what you want, but left-wing identity politics never criminalized being a racist to a black person. And that...
Oh. So he's saying, hey, they say they love black folks on the left, but they never criminalized, they never criminalized hate speech towards black people.
Sense. Like there was never a hate speech law against, which would have been unjust, to call out a black person or black culture.
Which would have been unjust. So this man, James Fishback, is saying that it would have been unjust to have an actual hate speech law against black Americans. Like to say, call us the N-word like they have in South Africa. They have that. If you call them the K-word, you go to jail. That's unjust here for us to have that law. So that's where he stands, and he just let that be known. So everything he said about FBA is crap. Because if he really cared, he would be for a law like that. Because we've been the biggest brunt of hate in America since the beginning of America.
Right. I think that's deplorable to single out any. As a Christian, I would, right, of course, condemn.
And as a Christian, he would condemn us having an anti-hate bill. And I'm going to leave it at that, guys, because he just told on himself. All right, guys, let me know what you think about this in the comments. I can't wait to read your comments. And always, I'm going to end it. It's just too long. I've went on too long now. But always, guys, always remember to ask why.